around the way, I switched the code up. I ain't got no love for niggas, ain't got no love for me. I ain't get no love from niggas, I got that love from me. Man, don't ask me about nobody, cause it's fuck. I hate when niggas...
What's going on? New episode of From Within. This is our first episode recorded in 2025. Today, we got the pleasure of my guy Bandup Gotti joining us today.
It's good with you, bro.
Pleasure to have you, bro. First of all, we want to talk about, well, we're here. Can you tell us about the significance of this spot? Tell us where we at. Tell us the significance.
We are at Tabernacle Baptist. It's off 16th and Marshall. And it's actually my aunt's church. But this is actually like a home base for me because I've been going here for a long time. I'm pretty familiar about what's going on around this area. So when I get here, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like granny house. It's like the places you go. Right. But like you ain't good nowhere nowadays, you know what I'm saying? It's so crazy, but I think I feel good here.
Right. Growing up in Hampton, of course we're in Newport News, but your presence is very known around this area. You went to Bethel, played ball there. Tell us about your ties, growing up in Hampton, some of the things you experienced, as a jit growing up, and that kind of shaped who you are today right now.
Where I'm talking about, I bounced around every inch of Hampton. I done seen, that corner, this corner, every back street. So, but centralize it. My grandparents stay around the corner from each other. Went off Aberdeen Road, went off Broadfield. And for me to be able to, ride a bike from one grandparent house to the other, I think that was a luxury growing up. Like, I got to be at home in two different places in a matter of 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was my thought of Hampton. I didn't know the world was as big as it was. I thought Hampton was what it was. So, and I'm glad I got to bounce around because then I got to meet so many different people from the other side of Hampton I would have never met otherwise.
Right. And like you said, going back and forth from grandparents' house to and from, you mentioned one of those on Aberdeen Road and your music. Mm-hmm. Tell us about, the importance of that specific location as well. Because you mentioned a couple of times, album covers and that type of thing. Tell us about that.
And I'm talking about when it comes to being home base, like when it comes down to it, that's where I know. That's where I'm comfortable. That's where I'm feel at home. So it's like just being there, and you talk about like the projects and the influence that they gave to those projects is like it gave all the influence because that's all I know. So I think when it come down to getting to know me, you got to know where I'm from first. So I think that's what I used East Louis and Aberdeen Road to do.
Of course, with your music, you're a rapper as well. If you didn't know, what was the start that got you into rapping? Because a lot of people may say, "Oh, I just had a cousin. I had so and so was rapping," or these type of different influences and all these different environmental experiences you had. But what was your start and that led you to start rapping and then also to continue it as well?
Man, I'm talking about the story that you just brought up as an example. It kind of happened like that. I'm chilling with my man Jordan, and we chilling at the crib all day. I go YouTube, you watch your music videos. That's how you vibe out. And after a while, it just started becoming like he playing beats, no mute, like no words. I'm like, where the words at? So I think that was the start of me like even listening to beats, instrumentals at that time. Like I was like, oh, maybe I could think of something to say. But it started with him doing it. He had already been to the studio maybe once or twice. And he pretty much convinced me to go with him again. He was like, man, let's do a song together. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'll be the wingman in this situation. But it turned into him never going back to rap and me, like, never stopping from that day forward. It's just crazy how it started out. But just that one night is how I became a rapper, honestly.
Yeah, and looking back at your, at the beginning of, your career, like, what artists were influencing you and, like, what type of sound did you have going back then? You can look back and be like, all right, I don't know what I was talking about back then, but
I'm talking about I wanted to be known for being a rapper, like just the rapping part of it though, like the barring you up. Like I wanted people to think about what I was saying, right. And I feel like even now, like I carry it the same way, no matter if I'm using a melody in a different way or if I'm going straight forward at it. It's like I'm still at the end of the day trying to do it how I came in doing it. Yeah, I want you to think about what I'm saying at least.
Exactly, and that's one thing that listen to your music. Throughout your process. I was introduced to you in 2021 when you dropped, trying to think of what that EP
First
was.
Burrow.
Yeah. So being introduced to you to that way, the one thing that I picked up on was like in a sense, fat on the music. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not, saying no extra stuff. You're just talking about, you just getting to the point. So, how did you shape that sound? Because a lot of rappers may, talk about different things where it's like, it's just a lot of fluff in the music, but yours don't. I don't got any fluff in your music. So, like you said, barring up, how is that process of trying to stay connected and stay authentic to that side of yourself?
Speaking of Braille, you was the first person to like give me a write up on anything that I've done musically. So
Yeah.
I got to give you that credit because when I seen that, I remember sending it to my mom like, "Hey, somebody has something to say about what I did." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you, as a musician, you got to use little things as that to convince everybody else around you is working. Like, and not that I got to convince small dudes, but I did use you as an example, so I want to credit you.
Yeah, for sure.
You looked out.
Yeah.
But to that same point, I think just to start off, Braille was the first project where I started working with the Perfect Play. It's the first time I met a lot of different people outside of my little world. Like I told you, being in Hampton, you in a box, and not because you want to be, it's just where you at. And I think that's something I had to combat, getting to know more people, getting to know you, getting to know anybody outside of Hampton, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think that helped because it was the start of something, special.
Exactly. And like you mentioned, coming from Hampton, it's not a lot of artists that are, really getting pushed out of Hampton or even Newport. This side of Peninsula, or this side of the water at all. Most of the artists are, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Virginia Beach. So how is it navigating that space of trying to compete with these other guys? It's kind of even though in the same area, it's definitely a bigger market to tap into on the other side of the water. So was that a challenge trying to, compete, I guess, with, these other, more popular rappers who are, who have the audience and the scene at their display,
I think competing is you're gonna compete in life. Like I think no matter what you're doing, it's gonna be some sort of competition because people, it's a best and a worst. It's, what I'm saying, it's everything in between too. Right. So I think you're gonna compete in that way, but in a natural sense, I'm never competing. Like honestly, when it comes down to my music, I think it's so different. I think it ain't sounding like anything on that side, anything on my side, anything in Virginia. Like I don't think it sounds like anything. So it sounds like me. So I think as long as it sounds like me, I ain't got to compete with nobody else.
Yeah.
I ain't got to try to be better than anybody on y'all side or my side. It's just, it is what it is. People like me for me.
Right, exactly. Going back to your last project, you did a lot of work in front of the camera in terms of like the short film that you guys did. Talk to us about the process of bringing cinematics into the music and bringing like a story with the album, because a lot of artists nowadays may just say, hey, here's my music, listen to it, but there's no story behind it, there's no background, there's no reference. So talk to us about trying to develop a story to bring your audience and get to know you and your surroundings as well.
I think it's a matter of you knowing yourself. If you got that type of personality where you're an entertainer, maybe the story don't matter as much. And I think that's a lot of what's going on out here. So people are quickly entertained, and that ain't my game. I think it's about knowing your game. Man.
Right.
For me to know myself is to know I ain't as entertaining in a lot of ways, but I can entertain you with a story or something I've been through, and that's what I'm using. That's it. Every song I've ever made has some element of that to it. So I think as long as I just keep that going throughout. You talking about cinematic, I love books, I love movies, so I think just naturally that's going to translate to my music, and I think it works out for me. And I want to keep it that way because now I'm just integrating everything I love into one. You know what I'm saying? I love doing a lot of things that I put into the music, and then you'll never know that I love that one thing. Right. But it works for me on the back end.
Exactly. So, of course, you write your own songs as well. What is that process like in the studio where you kind of get down, you sit down, you hear some beats, and what is that process like when you're developing music and also putting together a full project? How is that process for you, especially nowadays? Not you more experienced.
I'm fortunate enough to have my own setup, so it's a matter of using that and using the studios, and there's a couple of studios I go to, but it's a matter of me being comfortable wherever I'm at. You talk about being vulnerable in the studio, it's a matter of being comfortable no matter where you at. I can be in California, I can be in Texas. If I'm comfortable, it's gonna come out all natural. But to talk about the progression, it did take a while for me to pick up on it. My earlier stuff, I would tell you a little bit. He described it as me talking in code.
Right.
I wanted to somewhat break that because I know at certain you capping yourself out doing that. So I think that's what I learned to do over the last couple projects is give you the full story instead of getting you the tidbits. And I ain't want to do that no more. I think you shortchanging the fans at that point.
Exactly. Yeah, you hear it in different songs. Like one song that kind of stand out to me is like Corner of the Club. That's one of my favorites from you. Is like it's like a real experience. Like it's real. All of the music is real, and it's like it's real life experience, and it's not nothing that is it's not like I said like earlier. It's no fluff.
Yeah.
There's no extra stuff in the music. So also you bring in your family members into your music. You got the song Love from Neek. What is your family like? How are they supporting you? And what does that support feel like? From your immediate family members.
If you're gonna tell the story, I think you gotta, and somebody like me who's family oriented, they gotta naturally be a part of it. And I think those songs are kind of like I told you about how I sent you the article, and my mom pretty much took to that. She said, "Well said," honestly, when she read the article. And I think it's the same thing with giving my sister a song, like just putting her name in it. She hear the song, she go crazy to this day. So I think that's something I'm still using as I gave you that early, you know what I'm saying? And it's working. It's working in different ways now, ways that I didn't even expect coming into this. Like I didn't used to expect anything out of music. So for me to be getting things out of music now, people liking it, live performances, things of that, I'm like, that's extra.
Yeah, that's my next point too. I was gonna say, that was your first performance at Novice Principles.
It wasn't my first performance. It was my first performance in that type of in front of that type of audience.
Yeah. So that was my first time at least seeing you perform.
Yeah.
And you had the whole crew out there. Y'all was deep. You can tell when you got on stage, everybody pushed to the front, singing all the words. So what is that? Because nobody knows, he's not a man of many words. So seeing him seeing you in that space, in that environment, where you have to kind of be vulnerable on stage and perform, what is that feeling like to try to kind of come out your shell, even though you're in front of, family basically?
Yeah. Well, it was just a matter of pretty much acting like my family won't dare, even though that was really hard to do.
Yeah.
It was a matter of just, pretty much I'm coming into it. I know somebody there that didn't know me from a can of paint, and that's who I wanted to impress that night.
Right.
Even though, my family's there, I want to put on a good show regardless, but it's like I know somebody in here don't know me at all, like don't know where I'm coming from, don't know what song I'm coming on next, don't know the words. So I want to give you the full, what my family already know about me, I can give you in this one performance.
Exactly.
So I think that's what I used the performance to do was, hey, this is me. This is what I'm coming with. I got a lot more to come. So yeah, just keeping it simple like that.
Yeah. You dropped Braille 2 not too long ago. What can we expect from you, this year? If you can speak about that, can you give us any tidbits, any details about what's coming up next?
It's a lot of work. I'll say that. Like I'm talking about I've been working, and I think whenever you hear what's to come, you'll know like I've been putting in the work over whenever. I wouldn't even say lapses because my last project came in I think August. So I think just in the meantime I've been working. I've been adding new stuff to the music. I've been expanding my game. I've been doing stuff that I've never tried with music.
Right.
And I think to get to that place where I want to go musically, you guys start doing stuff that you ain't did before. And that's what I'm doing at this point. That's what I've been doing the past couple months.
Right. As an artist, man, nowadays a lot of guys, one thing that a lot of people see or they don't see is like management and the people that are doing all the work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Of course, you just signed with the Create with a Perfect Play. So talk to us about how they have helped you in your career, just steering you in the right direction with just the finite things with the rollout, photos, distributing your music, booking you for things like that. How is having a good management team so essential for you?
It's just so essential for me because I think who I am and the things that I'm not willing to do in a lot of senses. So I think getting somebody there to help you figure out, hey, maybe you should do this even though you don't want to. And it's not a matter of like, I love a lot that comes with music. I love music. But it's a sense of opening up my game, being more of myself, being more vulnerable. You talk about that's one of the biggest things that being with the Perfect Play has given me is an insight to, hey, I know you looking at it this way, but the world is this, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been so centralized and growing up in Hampton. I stayed in a lot of different careers growing up, but they were all in Hampton, Newport News. So I think me bouncing around, seeing Hampton, Newport News, I didn't know that it got much bigger than this. So working with people that been around, you know what I'm saying, being around music was important for somebody like me. I couldn't have worked with a beginner, honestly, because we were both beginners at that point, you know what I'm saying? So I think being with somebody who was seasoned, somebody who not only cared about me, but cared about how I was going to go forward with or without them. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a thing of me having to lock in for forever. It was a matter of, hey, I see something in you. Let's see what we can do together. Right. And now I got family. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So like I said, you know, you got some new stuff coming up this year. But taking it back to the beginning, sorry, I can't think of the first project that you had, but it's in front of the store. It's a black and white cover.
Before the bands.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So talk to us, you know, about who you were at that time versus who you are now today. What is the biggest change that you've seen in yourself personally, and you know, as an artist? What are some of the bigger changes that you've seen in yourself?
I think in a lot of ways, like as the people in my family say, I was a hot mess, like, and not in the sense of like I was crashing out every day. It was just a matter of my decision making. I wasn't willing to, you know what I'm saying, care about how anybody else felt about what I was doing. So I think in doing that, you're naturally going to disappoint a lot of people. And that's what I was doing at that time. I was disappointing people I care about a lot. And I think me taking a turn in music helped me take a turn in a lot of those relationships. It helped me mend a lot of that in a subtle way. Like, not the thing I had to go, you know, apologize for or have a sit down about. It was, hey, I'm saying this now. You know what I'm saying? I've grown in this way. And I think sometimes instead of apologizing, you can just show somebody, I'm on this now. I'm moving different. And then you ain't even got to apologize. You can apologize down the line. Yeah. Or if you feel as though you did enough that warrants that. But I think that's how I apologize to a lot of people, was turning my life around, turning my music around. The things I was talking about before the bands is definitely not what I'm talking about now. Right. And I think that's a matter of, I gave up a lot of things to go chase this. Exactly. So I love that fact of it.
Yeah. What is one goal that you want to see from yourself, whether it's the next year or a couple years? What is one thing that you would like to accomplish professionally, as an artist, and personally?
Personally, I want to, I think in the past couple years, I honestly didn't have any goals. When people told me to start writing down goals and things, and I'm like, what is writing it down going, you know what I'm saying, do? Because I'm more so a reality person. I'm like, if it ain't in me, it ain't in me at the moment. So I think me taking the change of, last year was the first year that I wrote down some goals and actually achieved them. And I was like, okay, you got to start doing this again, because it's that important. Just something I did as a kid too. When I was a kid, I used to make, this semester I'm getting straight A's, and I would get them. Right. I think somewhere along the line I kind of lost sight of that, but getting it back as an adult kind of bring out that kid feeling again. Man, I did it. So I think that's what I'm doing this year and I have goals for this year, and to give you one musically is to drop a project that changes the narrative around my personality, because I think when it comes to me, people get like you said, man of little to no words. Yeah. It's people that I know, people that care about me, people that I'm around daily, they would never say that. I'm like, where to disconnect that? Right, yeah. So I'm trying to get everybody on the same page. I want my family and friends to think the same thing about what the world think about me. I want it to all mesh, you know what I'm saying? And still be private in some instances and whatnot. But I've been super private my whole life. So at some point you gotta open up a little bit.
Got you. That's beautiful, man. First, before we close, you know I cook you right one-on-one.
In basketball?
Yeah.
There's no chance of that either. I'm so sure of that.
Come on, bro.
I can't even give it too much thought. And not to disrespect your game. I'm sure you on your game. I'm sure you do your thing. I'm sure you know.
We're gonna set it up.
We can do that.
Please.
My side, your side, around the corners, across the street.
Anytime. Let me know.
I'm around. I'm pretty sure you have my phone number. You got my Instagram. You got my email. So I ain't hard to find, man.
But yeah, man. Once again, it's Bandup Gotti, coming from Hampton, representing for this side of the water, representing for Virginia. And before we close, actually, From Within is all about Virginia. We're based out of here. Everything we do is Virginia. So talk to us about what, of course, Hampton means to you, and what being an artist and just being a resident of Virginia means to you as well.
Well, Hampton is everything to me, but I think the biggest lesson that Hampton has taught me is that some of the people here aren't from here. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that thought growing up. I didn't know the world was bigger than, the intersection of my grandparents' house. So I think just helping me realize this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? I think, and it's a lot of people in Hampton that will tell you that. You walk around, they'll tell you, hey, go out there in the world and go find out what's for you, because this ain't all that it is. Like, this is somewhere you come to settle. You know what I'm saying? I think from the beginning of time, I honestly believe that, and I think my origin story and where I'm at now is all a matter of where I grew up and where I'm going. Right. Yeah, I love that. I want to continue to build on that and give people that part of me.
That's great, man. That's great. Well, once again, y'all, Bandup Gotti, my guy. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thanks. Close this episode. We done. Cut.